All right, good morning, YouTube. It might be a little interesting this morning. It looks like, and I think I figured out for some reason, Thursday morning internet stream is just trash. uh, Today was a struggle to get this thing rolling, and I don't know what it is on Thursday mornings. It seems Thursdays are the worst days of the week to do this thing. But good morning. We'll see how long we can string this together or string people out before it gets insane. But we're here, and we'll see if anybody's joined us. Hey, good morning, Wes. How's it going? You beat everybody here, right? Yep, indeed. Good morning, Walter. How you doing? Looks like there's quite a bit of rain going on to the central and the eastern side of the country. Looks like you might be getting a little bit of that, Walter, here shortly if you're not already. But button up and bring out the galoshes if you need to. I don't think any of y'all would use umbrella. None of you are that type, I don't think. Galenas Vilkas, good morning. How you been doing? And Barry Wood, good morning. Yeah, it looks like rain up in Seattle, Washington, Vancouver, all through Montana as well. Quite a bit, and a little bit of snow in southern Canada too. But it's high and dry out here where I'm at. Yeah. So we're kind of a slow news day too. It didn't. Nothing really jumps out at me. I mean, guess what? Israel launched missiles into Syria. There were rockets from Syria fired into Israel. How many times have you heard that in the last 20 years? Okay, you've heard it again. I don't know that. It seems like every time everybody tries to hype it up, or sometimes it happens and nobody knows about it. And this time just seems to be more significant. As I mentioned in one of the articles, it was one of the largest attacks in quite a while, but I don't know. It's kind of a yawn fest in some respects too, because like it hasn't happened before. It seems to get built up. Is the hype really worth it? But you can find lots of that on the news if you wanted to look up. But speaking of hype, um, Ebola's back in the news. It was on several of the news outlets yesterday. There's been a new outbreak reported in the Congo. And of course, it's hype. A lot of it, they're hyping it up. I mean, yes, there was an outbreak of Ebola. Yes, that's serious. Yes, Ebola's bad. But there was an outbreak last year and nobody talked about it. This must be a slow news week or something. So the Congo has been an outbreak. There's been 21 cases, 17 have died. Um, it's not the first time. Cher doesn't have Ebola, I don't think, but they put her on the screen here. It even says it right here. The last outbreak in 2017 was quickly contained, but nobody heard about that. But yeah, you want to keep an eye on things like this. Don't go to the Congo would be first rule that I'd put out there, and second would be if you're from the Congo, you can't come to the U.S. until this outbreak is contained or you're quarantined for your period of time, and you can be cleared or tested. Like that's the only way you contain these things. But people just want to think like there's no way to respond to these things. Like, yeah, just contain them and treat people, and then when it goes away, hopefully it goes away. But that's just my take on it. Hot take, I guess. But you go to Congo, you could dress like these guys. That might be advisable that you do that. So the World Health Organization is knee deep in there, uh, doing things. They've released $1 million contingency fund to support this for the next 3 months. Nowhere. Having to live there, and then you set up a makeshift hospital there. That's kind of what's going on in these places. Like, the conditions they're in are pretty poor. You can't. I mean, Americans have a hard time imagining how ramshackle and just pieced together things are there. But people are living in barely sustainable conditions, and then this type of stuff happens. Medical teams like these guys go in there, build something temporary as a makeshift, like hospital treatment center, whatever you want to call it, and it's just it's a bad situation to try to live in, a little less try to fight Ebola in. But there you go. Something just to be aware of. Seems like the news wants you to do half the time. Your isolation and quarantining of yourself would help prevent it from spreading to you by not going to the Congo. So that's that. Who else we got out here? Or what you guys talking about? There's prime land in Damascus, Walter. I don't know if they've flattened Damascus yet, but they were definitely putting it down on a lot of the areas around their bases and whatnot. The Golan Heights, etc. So that is what it is. People eat E. coli all the time. Right? The aspartame is E. coli's processes. Kind of scary, I guess. I guess we just don't know what the effect is on the body, but at least it's not transmittable from human to human. Through bodily fluids, at least. So, the Sun's hot take on this Israel issue: up to 70 missiles, killing at least 23 fighters, as they call them. Israel put out in a statement that I saw in a tweet out of the IDF or something like that, that they had eliminated all established Iranian support infrastructure in Syria. Like, okay, then it's over, right? I don't know how they get that number, but sure. So at least 70 missiles were launched into Syria for revenge on rocket attacks on the Golan Heights. So it's nothing new. Again, you've heard this a million times. Maybe I have some video up top here of this if it gets loaded. And this is as of late last night. Or no, first thing this morning. 3:30 a.m. I'm assuming that's Britain time, so it also said updated 12:03 p.m. today, so if that's British time, yeah. I don't want to learn more.
Baby on a Nirvana mattress. Try a 121 night trial or save $100 on your purchase by waiving the trial. When you waive your trial period, we'll donate a bed to a child in need.
I saw some show, if nothing else, coming out of there. So they give a timeline of some of the stuff from the last couple of days. Somehow this links all to the termination of the nuclear deal, which I'm not sure how that works. They are considering this a limited confrontation. Should not be confined and should be confined to it and not expanded. Well, that's a rational approach, but some people don't look at it that way. Um, that was from the Israeli defense minister. So for the most part, it's nothing you haven't seen before. Just maybe some interesting timing. See where it goes, but supposedly there is no Iranian support areas left in Syria to operate out of, so should be a lull for a while, right? If they were correct. Lots of pictures in here to go check out. All right, so there's that, and that's about all I got for today, folks. We got 10 minutes left. And y'all got anything to talk about? Throw out there? Is your gas at $5 a gallon yet? Gas is probably expected to shoot up this morning, I would imagine, based upon a lot of this activity. Doesn't look like it's hit the front page yet. Oil was over 70 yesterday. They're not even talking about Israel or Syria or anything. So the market don't care. It is also the 150th anniversary of Reno had its birthday yesterday. Just anecdotal out there for you. What it used to look like. I don't think I got any other old photos stuffed in here. Got 134 photos. Places you'll never see again. Nothing wrong with Reno, Barry. Come on. What do you mean dump? If you're on Sierra Street, yeah, I'd have to agree with you. But they're making do with what they got. It's just like any other town. There's old areas and new areas, etc. That's in Carson City. We'll come back and visit, Barry. You can compare your experiences. Was built on 80 acres deeded to the railroad. Also originally called Argenta. Reno 911, Galenas. That was a funny show, right? Indeed. All right. There's that for you today, folks. Not going to drag this out unless somebody's got something else you want to throw out there. I haven't looked into some of the other situations today. All right, we'll do that, Glenis. We'll let them know that you're awaiting a slab of bacon from them, right? There is the Hawaii volcano situation to keep track of. They're seeing the lava levels lower, which kind of leads them to predict that it's probably going to have some sort of explosion of some sort shortly. It's just a sign of building up inside the volcano that it could possibly erupt at some point here shortly, based upon the activity they're seeing. So that's something to keep a track on. Obviously, it's affected a lot of the local, but if it blows, depending on the size, as we talked about, the big island as a whole, and could be affected quite severely. And they're also talking about a large explosion, large emissions coming out could catch the jet stream, head to the west coast. That usually brings rain. So wherever the jet stream's bringing that rain to, also have all the soot and ash and everything from the volcano wherever it hits the west coast, which usually this time of year is up there in Washington. Right, Barry? We don't get a whole lot of that, what we call the Pineapple Express here in the summer. That's usually a winter thing. So something to keep an eye on out here on the west coast, especially. But y'all have a good day out there. Stay out of trouble. Come back and visit us again tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. Right? Barry, you just want more than one good day of sun at a time. You live in the wrong place in the world, I think, for that. Yeah. You have to move down here to Nevada. Visit Reno a little more often. It's like, I think we're working with about 330 days of sun a year, something like that. So it's a trade-off. You don't even have to live in Reno, which is a good news. You can live somewhere nice. If you're a high roller, you could always live at Tahoe. That'd be the way to roll. If I had my preferences, that's where I'd be living. But not quite that high of a roller. All right, y'all have a good day. See you tomorrow morning. Check back in. Live free.